Week 13 saw players getting revenge, controversial takes, and the NHL's young golden boy getting lit up in the middle of the ice. The 2024 NHL season may be young, but it is getting ugly. So let's cover everything that has happened this week. The biggest storyline took place in this Devils and Blackhawks game, and it saw the young prodigy in Conor Bard weave his way into the middle and get caught by Brendan Smith. Now, he's lucky he didn't get fully caught with his head down, as after he makes this move at the line, he's kind of reaching for the puck a little bit, and then last second, he's able to flare out his shoulder and take on some of the brunt of the impact. However, Smith catches him clean, and Bedard instantly grabs his jaw and leaves the ice. Now, I love the hit. It is a clean one. It's just unfortunate that it's on Bedard and that he didn't return to the game. Some people may think it's dirty because it gets head contact, but Smith doesn't leave his feet. He keeps his shoulder tucked, and the smaller Bedard paid the price for being his size. However, the response by the Blackhawks is what is top-notch. Nick Foligno, who isn't the captain but really is on this team, drops the gloves instantly, and everyone else on the ice follows suit. You can't hit Bedard like that, even though it is a clean hit, and expect to get away with it. It was clear by the comments after the game that this is the type of culture that the Chicago Blackhawks want to build, and they answered the bell to do so. On top of that response, afterwards, Foligno fought Smith head-on to send a message. Nick Foligno is a real one when it comes to that stuff. I remember him fighting after the Tavares incident in the bubble and being the guy to step up no matter what the intention was of the hit. Some people may not like that, but you know who does? The entire Blackhawks team, and probably Conor Bard specifically. Things remained ugly the rest of the game as the temperatures rose all over the place, but ultimately the Devils came out on top, which is a double L for the Blackhawks, who lose the game, and Conor Bard for 4 to 6 weeks. That's absolute brutal news for the league, and of course Conor Bard, especially because he's been basically lights out since day one of entering the league. That's ugly for the Hawks, Bedard, and especially the NHL, as this kid was going to be the youngest player ever to participate in the All-Star game. Not sure if he'll make it back in time, but the whole Bedard situation was just the beginning of the ugliness and controversy around the league this week. As of course, we also saw this juicy hit from behind on Nick Cousins by Jason Zucker. That earned Zucker a 3-game suspension, but this is what it looks like when players police the game. See, our friend here, Nick Cousins, is quickly building a reputation of being a rat amongst the league. Now, he boarded Gabranson a little bit earlier in the season, and then he turtled when he had to respond, and now he hits a defenseless player while he's on his knees. Kevin Bieksa called it out on Hockey Night in Canada, and it's quickly making the rounds that Nick Cousins does have a reputation for doing this kind of rat behavior. So Jason Zucker takes exception and just pastes him to the boards. Even Zucker sees Cousins fall to the ice and is like, come on man, really? Just get up. But Cousins was actually shook up on that play and was experiencing concussion-like symptoms after that hit. Now, revenge remained a big theme this week, as there was a lot of controversy when Ryan Hartman high-sticked the youngster Cole Perfetti off the draw. It may look accidental, but Perfetti himself told reporters that Hartman deliberately high-sticked him in the face as payback for Brendan Dillon hurting Kirill Kaprizov. Hartman was also apparently mic'd up during the game and admitted doing it as payback, and that sparked all kinds of debate on the Sportsnet panel between Jennifer Botterill and Jamal Mayers. Jamal Mayers argued that while what Hartman did was a dirty play, it's still within the NHL's code with regards to protecting star players. The NHL operates on an eye-for-an-eye policy, and if you want to make a dirty play on a star player, expect one back at any moment. Hartman's high stick was dirty on Perfetti, and that's why he incurred a fine, but that is the reality of professional hockey. Botterill, on the other hand, disagreed strongly, citing a need for player safety and there being a difference between tough and physical and being cheap and dirty. I'll leave the link to the full debate down below, but it's clear that this divided a lot of people in the hockey community. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, but to me, the NHL will forever be a physical game. Both sides have fair points, and the cheap shots are scummy, and no one wants that, but the truth is that that is the game at the NHL level. Teams will want revenge if someone targets their star player. It just is the way that it is. We saw it with Bedard, and we will see it many more times this season and in the future. In the playoffs especially, it is exaggerated tenfold, and it can be the difference in winning or losing a 7-game series. Let us know what you think is best for the game in the comments down below. Now, other than the controversy for the Wild, they won a thriller against Columbus in OT the other night, thanks to this ridiculous effort from Fleury to make a diving save on an empty net to keep the game alive for Minnesota, only for them to tie it just a few seconds later. Fleury was dynamite in OT and had helped the Wild get the dub, and he ties Patrick Waugh for second all-time in wins. The Wild will likely not make any noise this year, but at least Fleury is still putting on a show in what is likely his last season in the NHL. Now, the year kicked off like normal with the annual Winter Classic, and that saw the Seattle Kraken completely shut out the Golden Knights. It was the first shutout in Winter Classic history thanks to Joey Daccord, who's been helping the Kraken slowly get back in the playoff race after a brutal start. 6 wins in a row has them right there along with the Edmonton Oilers. The boys have won 7 in a row, and McDavid also became the 5th fastest player in history to reach 900 points. That is just ridiculous, but what a 180 from the start of the season, and if they get in, it may be hard not to pick McDavid as the MVP. However, he's going to have to rip it out of Nathan MacKinnon's bare hands because the Nate Dogg is on a complete other level. Another 3 points in a game against Dallas, and the OT winner where he just says, screw it on this 2-0, I'm taking it home, and he completes the comeback for the Avalanche. The guy is an absolute monster, and we did a breakdown on him on the channel this week and why he's completely taken over the league, so make sure you check out that breakdown after the video. Now, unfortunately, the Sharks have lost 11 straight again, and that will only put a slight dent into their Stanley Cup aspirations. That's a bummer for the Juggernaut, especially when their latest loss came to the Toronto Maple Leafs. That seals a 3-game win streak for the Leafs and officially reinstates the Cup parade. Thank God. The good news is that it looks like William Nylander is going to sign his extension in the upcoming week, and the bad news is that it looks like it's going to be around the $11.5 million range. That means that Toronto is going to have 4 forwards making over $11 million. Now, if you ask me, that just sounds like the perfect recipe for building a winning team. Checking in on top of the standings is the Winnipeg Jets out of nowhere. They've been flirting with the top of their division, but after a 5-game heater, they find themselves as the top dog in the NHL. At the bottom, we have my future Stanley Cup Juggernauts and the Sharks, with the Bedardless Blackhawks in hot pursuit for last place in the league. Now, outside of the NHL, the hockey world was buzzing this week with the World Juniors and women's hockey. Canada got sent home early, Finland pooched it in the bronze medal game, and Team USA made America proud again by pumping the Swedes 6-2 to win gold. Tough for Sweden, who lost on home ice in Gothenburg, and they got pretty much embarrassed at the end of the game when a 5'10" Lane Hudson bullied the 6'4" Johansson to just put more salt in the wound. The States swept the tournament, and they were without a doubt the best team. And right now, USA Hockey is on top, and it's looking healthier than ever. The PWHL started this past week, and the energy around the league seems fantastic. I think with the stability of one league in some awesome markets can really help it take off, especially because the product is actually really good. They got some creative rules to help add some flair to the game, but ultimately, the success will be determined by how well the NHL and the PWHL continue to promote the league. It's a fantastic step for the game of hockey, and I hope this sparks a whole new fan base to the game. So, what did you think about all the controversy and ugliness this week in the 2024 season? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want to catch some of our deeper breakdowns from this past week, click on any of the videos on the screen here, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to keep up with our weekly NHL reviews.